Good evening, sir.
Our class tonight we shall be taking questions. We discuss the principles of bond valuation. A quick recap of our last class. We define bond as a debt instrument that establishes relationship between the borrower and the lender. This instrument requires the bond issuer to repay the amount borrowed plus the interest elements to the lender. We discussed the parties to bond. There are two parties to bond. The bond issuer, that is the borrower, and the investors. The investors are the lender. We discussed this. We discussed some of the terms associated with bond, such as the face value. The face value of a bond is the amount written on the face, the amount stated on the face of a bond instrument. This amount is usually 100 or 1,000. We also discussed the coupon rate, that is the interest rate stated on the face of the bond. This interest rate could be fixed or floating or zero coupon rates. We look at premium bond, discount bond, and par bond. The premium bond, where the market price of a bond is greater than the face value of a bond. That is called premium bond. Discount bond. Chidima, please, can you mute? Bikule, can you mute? Discount bond. These are bonds with market price less than the face value. We talk about the par bond. We discuss the valuation of bond. You can value bond, the type of bond, redeemable bond, irredeemable bond, convertible bond. We discuss the bond yield. We talk about duration of a bond. Then we rounded up the class with the credit risk, credit spread, and the yield curve. Tonight, we shall put question to further explain these principles. We shall be starting with question 1, sorry, question 2 on my soft copy material here. But please refer to your study pack. That will be question 1 on your study pack. Please refer to your study pack. I think page 130 of your study pack. Question number 1. Kazaure Limited. Let us refer to this question. This question will be used to further explain the principle of bond valuation. Please, let us go to our study pack. Page 130, question number 1. Are we good to go, please? Please confirm that you have the question open so that we can do the reading and solve this question. Are we good to go, please? The class is silent.
Yes, sir, we are good to go.
All right. I will read. All right, Pascal, thank you. Wellington, thank you. We can mute. I'll read. Kazaure Limited has a cash surplus of 20 million naira. Please note that Kazaure Limited has a cash surplus of 20 million naira, which the finance manager is keen to invest in corporate bond. The financial manager is interested in investing 20 million naira in corporate bond. He has identified 2 potential investment opportunities in 2 different companies, which are both rated A by the major credit rating agencies. Please underline that word. Both companies are rated A. Bond A. The issuer plans to raise 500 million naira 2-year bond with a coupon rate of 10%. The bond is redeemable at a premium of 8% to nominal value. Bond B. The issuer plans to raise 800 million 3-year bond with a coupon rate of 12%, redeemable at par. The annual spot yield curve for government bond is given below. 1-year government bond, the interest rate is 9.5. 2-year government bond, the interest rate is 10.4. And 3-year government bond, the interest rate is 10.5. Extracts from a major credit rating agency's website. Table of spread in basis points. Look at the rating. If your company is rated AAAs, the rating is given from year 1 to year 3. If your company is rated AA, the credit rating is also given. If your company is rated A, the credit rating is also given. Requirements is for a nominal value of 1,000 naira, calculate the theoretical issue prices of the two bonds and indicate how many of each of these bonds Casaure Limited can buy, assuming it's indexed in only one of them. Note, calculate issue prices to the nearest naira. Let us deal with requirement A first. Let us deal with requirement A first. Now, if you are faced with question, in my opinion, the best way to approach a question is to try to explain the requirement to yourself. Examiner says, calculate theoretical issue price. You will now ask yourself, what is theoretical issue price? The theoretical issue price of a bond is the market price of the bond. The theoretical issue price of a bond is the market price of the bond. Okay. The next question will be, how do we calculate the market price of a bond? The next question I'm going to ask myself is, how do I calculate the market price of a bond? For me to do this, I need to know the type of the bond involved. For me to calculate the market price of a bond, I need to know which type of bond, or what is the type of bond I'm required to calculate the market price. Remember, we have like 3 types. We have redeemable bond, we have irredeemable bond, and we have convertible bond. We now go back to the question. I need to know the type of bond I'm required to calculate the market price. I have bond A. The issuer planned to raise 500 million, 2-year bond. Bond A has a maturity of 2 years. That means bond A is a redeemable bond. A bond with a specific repayment date. Bond A is redeemable in 2 years' time. That means bond A is a redeemable bond. Also check bond B. The issuer planned to raise 800 million, 3-year bond. Bond B is also a redeemable bond. Bond B will be redeemed in 3 years' time. This implies that both bonds are redeemable. This implies that both bond A and bond B are redeemable bonds. Okay. Now the last question is, how do we calculate the market price of a redeemable bond? How do we calculate the current market price or the issue price of a redeemable bond? If you recall last week, we explained that the price of a redeemable bond, the market price of a redeemable bond, is calculated as the present value of the expected future cash flows associated with the redeemable bond. If you recall our discussion last week, under valuation of redeemable bond, value of redeemable bond is calculated as the present value of the expected future cash flows associated with the redeemable bond. This implies that I need to know the expected future cash flows. All right. I've tried to explain this to enhance understanding. Let us go to the solution now. Oh, sorry. Need to create that space. Suggested solution. They just allow me like 2 minutes. I'm trying to create so please in the exam, as much as possible, try to be able to explain the question and the requirement to yourself. It makes no sense to start solving a question when you don't even know, you can't even understand what the examiner is trying to say. May God give us a better understanding. It's important that we are able to respond to the question as expected. Created like because once you start solving questions, it's not easy to create space again. If we can go on with the class now, I have to restart my system to be able to use the dicta pad. Requirement A. We are required to calculate calculation of theoretical issue price. Now we start with bond A. Now to enhance understanding, I will try to itemize the features of bond A, the characteristic of bond A, features of bond A. One, what is the maturity of bond A? Bond A maturity is 2 years. What is the coupon rate of bond A? The coupon rate is 10%. That is the interest rate payable annually on bond A. Now check the question. What is the nominal value? The nominal value, we also call it the face value of the bond. Examiner says, for a nominal value of 1,000 naira, please refer to requirement A. For a nominal value of 1,000 naira, this implies that the face value of this bond is 1,000 naira. Remember that we said the face value will either be 100 naira or 1,000 naira. In this question, the examiner has given us the face value to be 1,000 naira. But if the question is silent about the nominal value or the face value, then you can assume either 100 naira or you can assume 1,000 naira. I hope that point is clear. In this question, we cannot assume because the examiner says for a nominal value of 1,000 naira. That means the examiner wants us to use 1,000 naira as the face value of the bond. But if the question is silent on the face value, then you are at liberty to assume either 100 naira or 1,000 naira. All right, let's move on. Also, go back to the question. What is the redemption value of bond A? Look at the question and respond, please. Redemption value. Are we giving redemption value?
Yes.
So what's redemption value? Please, can you say it out?
It's
a premium of 8%.
At premium.
Thank you. To be redeemed at a premium of 8% to the nominal value. Thank you. Redemption value at 8% premium to nominal value. Now we have itemized the future of bond A. I'm doing this in the classroom to enhance understanding. You don't need to do this in the exam because of time. All right. My first working is to bring out the expected future cash flow. My working one. Expected future cash flow from bond A. Look at it. First, annual interest. The annual interest. Annual interest is calculated. Annual interest is 10%. This 10% is calculated on the face value. To do this, the annual interest is 10% of nominal value of 1,000. This is equal to 100 naira in year one, the annual interest in year one. This bond is for 2 years. Then again, year two interest. Annual interest in year two. 10% of 1,000. That will give you 100. This is year two. Expected future cash flow. Cash flow in year one expected. Annual interest of 100 naira. Cash flow in year two expected. Annual interest of 100 naira. Then in year two, this bond will be redeemed. In year two, this bond will be redeemed. The bond is for 2 years. Now come here. Redemption. The redemption value. Examiner says the bond will be redeemed at 8% premium to nominal value. I will now pick nominal value. Nominal value of this bond, the nominal value is equal to 1,000 naira. Then the premium, 8%. Please compute 8% of 1,000. That will give you 80 naira. Then you are going to add these two together. Redemption value, 1,000 plus 80. That will give us 1,080. This is the redemption value at a premium of 8%. We have added the premium. This bond will be redeemed in year 2. These are the cash flows. These are the cash flows associated with the bond. Sorry, these are the expected cash flows associated with the bond. Now you observe that in year 2, you have two cash flows, annual interest and redemption value. You can decide to plus this together. You can decide to plus these two together. The annual interest plus the redemption value. I can take these two together. $100 plus 1,080. You can try to plus it together. We have gotten the cash flows associated with bond A. Any question, please? We have gotten the expected future cash flow from bond A. Any question, please? All right, if there's no question, we can go to bond B. We have just gotten the cash flow. Bond B. Bond B. Also, I want to itemize the futures of bond B. Futures of bond B. The maturity of bond B. This is for 3 years. The coupon rate for bond B, please, you can refer to the question. This is 12%. The face value is 1,000. Now check the question. What is the redemption value of bond B? Please check the question. What is the redemption value of bond B?
Redeemable at par.
I can't hear you. The
Redeemable
class
at
is
par.
silent. The question says, to be redeemed at par. Redemption value at par value. The par value is also the face value. Now we have itemized the futures of bond B. We can now derive working two now. Expected future cash flows from bond B. One, you have the annual interest. This is equal to 12% of face value, 1,000 naira. This is equal to 120. This is year one. Expected cash flow in year one. This bond is for 3 years. That means we are going to get interest in year one, year two, year three. Annual interest again. %12 of 1,000. This is equal to 120. This is year two. Year three. Annual interest. This is equal to 12% of 1,000 naira. This is equal to 120 year three. Then after year three, the bond will be redeemed. Redemption value, examiners say par value. The par value is 1,000. This will be in year three also. If you look at this also, in year three, we have two cash flows. Annual interest and redemption value. You can decide to plus these two together. That will give you 1,120. The redemption value plus the annual interest. We have gotten the expected future cash flows of the two bonds. The next thing is we need to discount these cash flows to their present value. We need to discount these cash flows to their present value. Now the question is, which discount rates are we going to use to discount these cash flows to their present value? The question now we need to address is, we have the cash flow for bond A. We have the cash flow for bond B. We need to discard this cash flow to their present value. Now the question is, which discount rates are we going to use to discount this cash flow? What is the bond yield? Now to answer that question, you now go and ask yourself, Who is the issuer of the bond? Is it issued by government or by a corporate company? Look at the question and tell me. Who is the issuer of the bond? Because it is the issuer rate we are going to use. Please look at the question and respond to me. Is this bond issued by a corporate company or by government? We are waiting. Chidima, Christy. Yes, who is speaking for us? I have Chidima in class, I have Christy. Omawumi is there too. Ufoma is there. So,
It's issued by a corporate company.
yeah. The bond is issued by a corporate companies. That means we require corporate companies' yield rates. This bond is issued. Both bond A and bond B are issued by corporate companies. In this case, we require corporate companies' yield. Corporate companies' yield. Now we move to working three. So please, in the exam, you must try to be able to ask yourself questions and be able to respond to yourself in the exam. So our working three, corporate yield, curve calculation. I need to calculate the corporate yield curve. And to calculate this is not difficult, please. To calculate corporate yield curve, corporate yield curve. You are going to state the year. We have year 1, year 2, year 3. Now you are going to start with government sports yield curve. Go to the question. Look at the government annual sports yield curve on government bond. What are the rates given, please? Year 1. Let's look at the question and respond.
9.5%.
9.5% in year 1. Year 2.
10.4%.
10.4% year 2. Year 3.
10.5.
10.5%. This is the government's spot yield curve. This rate can only be used to value government bond issued by government. But I want to value corporate bond. You now introduce the credit spread of a corporate company. Now, these companies are rated A. Look at the first paragraph of the question. Examiner says these companies' bond are rated A. Can we all see it? Can we see that, please?
Yes, sir.
Good. That means you are going to pick the credit spread of A-rated company. A-rated. What is the spread for A-rated, please? Year one.
20.
Now, 20, 30, and 50. Is that not, please? Hello? You have 20 basis points, year one, 30 basis points, year two, 50 basis points, year three. The credit spread is given to you in basis points. But the government spot yield curve is given to you in percentage form. You cannot add basis points to percentage. We first need to convert the basis points to percentage. That basis point will be converted to percentage. And to do this, you are going to divide the basis points you are giving by 100. For example, 20 basis points. For me to convert to percentage, I will just say 20 divided by 100. That will give me 0.2%. This becomes 0.2%. For year two, 30 basis points. I want to convert it to percentage. That becomes 30 divided by 100. That will give me 0.3%. For year three, I have 50 basis points. To convert to percentage, I will divide by 100. That will give me 0.5%. You can now add. To get the corporate yield curve, this is the addition of government spot yield curve plus the credit spread of a company. You can do your addition now. You come here, 9.5 plus 0.2. This becomes 9.7%. Here you have 10.7%. Here you have 11%.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, why are we adding the government's spot yield curve? Because you know it's not a government bond now.
Okay, I'll answer your question. Corporate yield curve. Now, to get corporate yield curve, to get corporate rate, if you recall last week, we define credit spread. We said credit spread is the additional return payable to investor. Additional return payable to investors of corporate bond to compensate them for the risk of corporate bond. Now, what are we adding? If you invest in government bond, government will pay you interest of 9.5 in year one. But if you invest in corporate bond, you are going to get additional return. In addition to the government's rates, company will pay you extra return to compensate you for your risk. That extra return here is the credit spread of 0.2. What we adding is that corporate rate is calculated as government spot yield curve plus the credit spread of corporate company. I'll repeat that. Corporate yield curve is calculated as government spot yield curve plus the credit spread of a corporate company. The addition is the additional return is to compensate investors for investing in corporate bond because of the risk involved in corporate bond, which is not present in government bond. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
So please, please, for the online class, it becomes more active if there is participation. We can't see ourselves. Some can be sleeping, say you won't know. But if the class is participatory, then you can have some feeling like, yes, somebody is at the end listening to you. Because for all you care, some students will just be sleeping. All right? You have gotten the corporate discourse. That is the rate. Now remember, we want to discount the cash flow. For simplicity, just get your discount factor. For year 1, year 2, year 3. The rate in year 1 is 9.7%. This is different for the rate in year 2 or year 3. So compute your discount factor. Remember the formula for discount factor? That becomes for year 1, 1 plus 0.097 raised to power minus 1. For year 2, it becomes 1 plus 0.107 raised to power minus 2. For year 3, 1 plus 0.11 raised to power minus 3. Please, let us get the discount factor. What do you have here? 0. We are waiting.
0.9115.
0.9116. 912. Let's take it to 3 decimal places. Next.
Zero point 0.12.
0.812.
812.
Are you sure?
816, sorry.
816. 0 points. You can send in the via chat.
731.
731. You have gotten the discount factor. Then you can now compute a theoretical issue price. I can come here, A1, theoretical issue price of bond A. I have my year. This is year 1 and 2. Bond A for 2 years. Then I have my item. Annual interest in year 1. In year 2, annual interest plus the redemption value. My cash flow. Annual interest in year 1 is 100. Annual interest in year 2 plus the redemption. This will give me 1,180. Let me take you to where this figure is being picked from. For bond A, the only thing is that if you start going straight up, it will just be slowing you down. Look at the figure, please. Expected future cash flow from bond A, annual interest in year 1, 100, annual interest in year 2, 100, redemption value in year 2, 1,080. So we added 100 plus 1,080. That gives us 1,180. That is the expected cash flow of bond A. Then you now take your discount factor for year 1, 0.912, for year 2, 0.816. Now get your present value. $100 multiplied by the discount factor. This is 91.2. Now please multiply the second one. 1,180 multiplied by 0.186. What do we have?
$962.88.
962.88. Now sum your present value. Sum your present value. What do you have?
1054.08.
1054.08. Examiner says calculate the issue price to the nearest naira. So to the nearest naira, to the nearest naira, this becomes 1,054. This is the theoretical issue price of bond A. Any question, please? We can move to the theoretical issue price of bond B. I will take that as A2. Theoretical issue price of bond B. Open your schedule. The year. Bond B is for 3 years. The item you are picking Annual interest in year 1. Annual interest in year 2. Annual interest in year 3 plus the redemption. Redemption your cash flow. Annual interest in year 1, 120. Annual interest in year 2, 120. In year 3, annual interest plus the redemption value. This is equal to 1,120. Then pick your discount factor. For year 1, 0.912. Year 2, 0.816. Year 3, 0.731. Then the present value. Remember, redeemable bond, the price of a redeemable bond is calculated as the present value of the expected future cash flow. This cash flow will be discounted by the bond yield. All right, please discount this. 120 multiplied by 0.912. What do you have?
109.44.
109.44. 120 multiplied by 0.816.
97.92.
Jesus.
97.92.
What is this?
The last one,
818.
1,120 multiplied by 0.731.
818.72.
818.72. Thank you, sir. You can now solve the addition. Oh, please, who is taking this in?
1026.08.
1026.08. Examiner says to the nearest naira. To the nearest naira, that will give us 1026. Nearest naira is equal to 1,026. This is the theoretical issue price of bond B. Any question, please? We have answered some part of requirement A. Please refer to requirement A question. Examiner says, for a nominal value of 1,000 naira, calculate the theoretical issue prices of the two bonds. and the number of bonds Casaure Limited can buy, assuming it invests only in one of these. So we need to calculate the number of bonds Casaure Limited can buy. Assuming he invests in bond A, how many bonds A can he buy? Assuming he invests in bond B, how many of bond B can the company buy? Now, to answer this question, Casaure Limited has 20 million naira for investment purposes. And we calculated that the issue price of bond A, the price of bond A is 1,054 naira. If a bond will cost you 1,054 naira, and you have 20 million naira, how many bonds can you buy? Hello? A bond will cost 1,054 naira. And you have gotten 20 million. How many bond A can you buy?
That would be 20 million divided by 1,054.
Yeah, thank you. You can come here and say, assuming,
No damn way I'm supposed to satisfy them.
please, if you want to talk outside the classroom, please just mute. Assuming the company now is Casaure. Assuming Casaure invests in bond A. Number of bonds is, he has 20 million naira. The price per bond is 1,054. Please compute. That should be 18,000.
975.
954. Am I correct?
975.
Oh, 975. 975. 975. But if you invest in bond B, alternatively, if the company invests in bond B, number of bonds is 20 million naira divided by the price of bond B. The issue price of bond B is 1026. How many can the company buy?
19,493.
19,493.
493.
493. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. We are done with requirement A now. We are done with requirement A. Any question, please? Okay. Let us look at requirement B. Let us look at requirement B. Examiner says calculate the yield to maturity of the two bonds. Please refer to requirement B, please. The question says calculate the yield to maturity of the two bonds. Now, before we go into computation, try to ask yourself, what is the yield to maturity of a bond? Yes. What is the yield to maturity of a bond? Omowumi. Pascal, what is, yes. Former, what is the yield to maturity of a bond?
Is the return from the bond the investment?
Okay. It is the return from the investment. Okay. Who is speaking, please?
It's too formal.
Okay. Ufoma. Okay. Return from the investment. Any other opinion? Wellington.
The internal rate of returns.
Okay, it is the internal rate of return. At least we are getting there. Okay, we are getting there. From the first speaker, she said the return from the bond. Then the second speaker, that is Wellington Azun, he said that is the internal rate of return. Okay. Any other opinion? D. That should be my namesake. Here is the D. Christy, you've been silent in class. All right, let me explain this. The yield to maturity of a bond is the internal rate of return of the cash flows associated with the bond. If you go back to requirement A, requirement B, examiner says, irrespective of your answer in A, assume that the issue price of bond A is 1,054 and the issue price of bond B is 1,026 naira. Then calculate the yield to maturity of each bond. The yield to maturity of the bond is the internal rate of return of the cash flows associated with the bond. Recall, To calculate internal rate of return, you are going to assume a discount rate, one that will give you positive MPV. You also assume another discount rate that will give you negative MPV. You now use this to calculate your internal rate of return. The same method or the same approach will be adopted here. Let's go to this. Requirement B. Is B1. Calculate yield to maturity of bond A. To do this, you are going to open you start with open your schedule, the year. In this case, you are going to introduce year 0 now. Bond A is for 2 years. Year 0, year 1, year 2. Your item. In year 0, you start with the issue price. Assuming I want to invest in bond A, what is the issue price I'm going to pay? That is the cash flow. The issue price is 1054. This will be in brackets. Year 0 is the year you are making your investment. If you are making investment, your year 0 is an outflow. Then year 1, you are going to receive interest of Naira in year 1. In year 2, you are going to get annual interest plus the redemption value. Redemption value plus annual interest will give me 1,180. You have gotten the cash flows now. For bond A, we now want to calculate the internal rate of return of these cash flows. What do? We are going to assume a discount rate. Please, let us assume a rate. Anybody?
10%.
10%, thank you. 10%. Now, at 10%, discount factor for year 0 is 1. 10% discount factor year 1, 0.909. 10% discount factor year 2, 0.826. Now, please get present value. 1 multiplied by the cash flow. This will give you 1054. 0.909 multiplied by 100. This will give you 90.9. Now, please help me multiply. 1,018 multiplied by 0.826. What do we have?
974 68. 974
974.68. Thank you. Now get your MPV. Is it negative or positive? You had the positive, less it from the negative. Add up the present value.
11.58 positive.
11.58.
Positive.
Thank you. 11.58. This means that at a rate of 10%, the NPV is positive. If I want to achieve negative, what do I need to do?
You will take a lower discount factor, a lower percent, like 5%.
I'll take what?
A lower discount factor, say 5%. That will give you.
Is that correct? I should reduce the discount factor to 5%. Would that give me negative? Yes. Others can also contribute. At a cost of 10%, we have a positive NPV. If I want to get negative NPV, do I need to increase the discount rate or reduce the discount rate?
Increase the discount rate.
I do what?
Increase the discount rate.
That is correct. For you to get negative, you need to increase your cost. Your discount rate is a cost. If at 10% you have a positive NPV, if you attempt to reduce it, you are going to get positive again. So you need to increase your cost so that you can get negative. In this case, we can increase this to 15%. Second discount rate, 15%. Now work this out. At 15% year 0, this will be 1. 15% year 1, this will give you 0.870. 15% year 3. Please let me check. I'm not sure of this.
0.7.
Year 2, sorry, year 2.
0.756.
756. Thank you. Then now get the present value at 15%. Discount factor multiplied by the cash flows. 1 multiplied by 1054. That will give me 1050. Next, 0.87 multiplied by 100. This will give me 87. Please let me multiply. 0.756 multiplied by 1,180.
892.08.
892.08. Now, please get the NPV. Please get the NPV.
Negative 74.92.
Negative 74.92. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now you can compute the YTN. The same way you compute your internal rate of return. I'll just come here. YTM is equal to the lower discount rate plus the positive MPV 11.58 divided by 11.58 plus negative MPV 74.92, then multiply by, open a bracket, higher discount rate minus lower discount rate. This is how to calculate the internal rate of return. Please work this out and tell us the YTN of bond A. Please work this out. The YTM, this will give you 10.67%. Please work it out. Please confirm you have the answer. Is that confirmed? When you are done, we move to the B2. We need to calculate YTM of bond B. Calculation of yield to maturity of bond B. Please let us try to be part of the class. Online class can be so demanding for the lecturer. You have to speak to students virtually.
I calculated 12.18, sir.
What did you get?
12.18.
Kilo day. It can be 12. Oh.
Sir, please, is the denominator 11.58 plus 14.92?
No, 74. Now 14. No. 74.92.
That's correct, sir.
It's correct, right? All right,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. We can move to bond B now. You know, if there's no response from students, then you are not really sure. Okay, here you can do an it year. Year 1 to 2 to save time year 3. Your item, the issue price here, the issue price of bond B is taken as 1026. If you go back to working 2, annual interest in year 1 and year 2, the annual interest is 120. In year 3, annual interest plus redemption. This will give you 1,120. These are the cash flows associated with bond B. These are the cash flows associated with bond B. Please be mindful of my word. I didn't say expected future cash flows. I said cash flows, both the current and expected. The cash flow in year 0 is the current cash flow. Cash flow in year 1 to 3 is the expected cash flows. We now want to get the internal rate of return of these cash flows. We need to assume 2 discount rates. We can start with 10 year 2. 10%. At 10% year 1, this will give us 1. Now look at year 2. We have created annuity because the cash flow is the same. Cash flow in year 1 is 120. Cash flow in year 2 is also 120. We have gotten an annuity. Annuity is constant cash flow for a number of periods. All right. Now, we need to calculate 10% annuity factor, year 1 to 2. Now, adopt the annuity factor formula. Compute 10% annuity factor year 1 to 2. This will give you 1.736. Please reconfirm this. Then when you are done, go and get the discount factor for year 3. This will give you 0.751. Please reconfirm this for me. I'm trying to manage the time so that we can round up this question by 11 p.m. Yes, are we still there? Oh.
Yes, sir.
Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now multiply. 1 multiplied by the cash flow. This will give you 1026. 120 multiplied by 1.736. What do we have, please? Please multiply.
208.32.
208.32. 1,120 multiplied by 0.751.
841.12.
8 was
841.12.
841.1.
2.
1, 2. Now get your present value. Let us know if it is positive or negative. The MPV
23.44.
23.44.
Yeah.
Negative or positive?
Positive.
Positive.
Good. At 10%, the MPV is positive. To get negative, you need to increase the discount rate. So we can also suggest 15%. Now check this out. 15% discount factor year 0. That will give us 1. 15% annuity factor. Year 1 to 2. What do we have? That should give us 1.626. Then 15% year 3. What do we have, please?
0.6.
0.6575.
0.65.
658.
658.
8.
0.658. Then compute present value at 15% rate. 1 multiplied by the cash flow. That will give you 1026. Next,
195.12.
195.12.
195.42.
12.
Or 12.
Yes.
736.96.
I'm coming back. There is 0.12. 736. Point what?
96.
96. Then get your MPV2.
-93.92 negative.
93.92 negative. Now compute the internal rate of return. Lower discount rate, the YTM is equal to lower discount rate 10 plus positive MPV 23.44 over 23.44 plus negative MPV 93.92 multiplied by, open a bracket, higher discount rate minus lower discount rate. Please, let us calculate the YTM. By my calculation, we should have 10.99%. you should have 10.99%.
Correct, sir.
All right. So please remember in the exam, the yield to maturity of a bond is the internal rate of return of the cash flows associated with the bond. So you are going to get the cash flows. These cash flows include the issue price, the annual interest from year 1 to maturity, and the redemption value at maturity. Now look at requirement C. Requirement C says calculate the duration of each bond and explain what duration measure. You are required to calculate the duration. So we are going to calculate duration of bond A, duration of bond B. When we are done, we now explain what does duration measure. Before we go into computation, duration is the price sensitivity of a bond to change in interest rates. Duration shows the extent to which bond price will change if there's a change in interest rates. Duration shows the number of years it will take the investor to recoup or recover the amounts invested in a bond. If you look at that definition, duration is just like payback period. That is just like payback period. If I invest my money in this bond, how long will it take me to recoup the amount invested? We have explained duration. The next question is, how do we calculate duration? The next question will be, how do we calculate duration? To calculate duration, you have like 3 steps. Look at it, please. We come to C. That is my C1. Calculation of duration of bond A. Please look at the steps. Step 1. Calculate the YTN of bond A. We have done this before. The YTM of bond A, as calculated above, is 10.67%. So you don't need to calculate this again. Step 2. Use the YTN to discount the cash flows from the bond. So I want to use this now. Now, please, if you are calculating duration, year 0 is not relevant to us because duration is the number of years it will take you to recoup your investment. Year 0 is the year of investment. You are going to invest in year 0. So, and you cannot recoup your investment the same year you invest the money. So year 0 is not relevant. So you now come here, open your schedule. For bond A, we have 2 years. Year 1, year 2. The cash flow from this bond, you remember, items, annual interest in year 1. This cash flow is 100. Then year 2, annual interest plus redemption is equal to 1,180. These cash flows, you are going to discount it by the bond yield to maturity. The bond yield, the yield to maturity of bond A, this is equal to 10.67%. This now becomes your discount rate. This becomes your discount what rate? Now check year 0. Sorry, year 1. What is the discount rate at 10.67%? Please check. We have like 15 minutes to round up. That becomes 1 plus 0.1067 raised to power -1. That will give us
0.904.
That should give you 0.904. That's correct. $0.9904. Go to year 2. That will give you 0.816. Then get your present value. 100 multiplied by 0.904. That is 90.4. Next, 0.816 multiplied by 1180. This will give you
962.88.
62.88. Then the last column now, our last column is present value multiplied by n. Please look at this. Your n is the number of years. Year 1, 1 multiplied by the corresponding present value. This will give you 90.4. Then year 2, 2 multiplied by the present value.
1925.76.
1925.76. Now you are going to sum the last 2 columns. Sum the last 2 columns.
Okay. 2016.16.
This will give us 2016.16. Then the present value will give us 90.4 plus 962.88. This will give us 1053.28. Okay. This is the step 2. Then your step 3 will give you the duration now. The step 3 use the notation below to calculate duration. Look at the notation. Duration is equal to summation of present value multiplied by n divided by the summation of present value. In this case, the last column, our D, this is equal to 2016.16 divided by 1053.28. Please work this out. That will give you duration of bond A, 1.91 years. That is the duration of bond A. That is the duration of bond A. For C2, duration of bond B, duration of, please, If there's any question, please ask. Of bond B, you also did your step 1. Calculate YTM of bond B. We have done that before. YTM of bond B is equal to 10.99%. We move to step 2. Use the YTM to discount the cash flow from bond B. You come here, you have your year 1, year 2. Bond B is for 3 years. And please note, you can't do annuity when calculating duration. The years must be stated individually. Year 1, year 2, year 3. The items to be picked. Annual interest in year 1. This is equal the cash flow, 120. Annual interest in year 2. This is 120. Annual interest plus the redemption value. This is 1,120. These cash flows will be discounted using the YTM. The YTM of bond B is 10.99%. Please compute the discount factor. For year 1,
.901.
thank you, 0.901. For year 2, 0.812. For year 3, 0.731. Now get your present value. This will give us
0812.
the first one, right?
Yes.
108.12. Then the year 2, please. Can we have the figure?
97.44.
97.44. Then the last column is present value multiplied by N. Your N is the year. 1 multiplied by the present value, 108.12. 2 multiplied by the present value, what do you have?
194.88.
194.88. This will give you 2456.16. Now do your adding. Add the present value.
Okay, 2759.16.
The last column.
Yes, sir.
2755 what?
9.16.
0.16. Add the present value.
1024.28.
This will give us 1024.28. You can now go to the last column. Last one. You can go to the last step.
Sure.
Step 3. Duration is equal to summation present value multiplied by n divided by summation present value. That will give us duration is equal to 2759.16 divided by 1024.28. Please work this out.
2.694.
That is the duration of bond B. You can now explain what duration measure. Duration measures the price sensitivity of a bond to change in market interest rates. You are going to write to the examiner. Duration measures the price sensitivity of a bond to change in interest rates. It shows the number of years it will take the investor to recoup the amount invested in bond. It can be used to compare bonds with different maturity periods and different coupon rates. So you are going to explain this. The last requirement is without calculation. Examiner says, if you expect the market interest rate to rise in the market, if you expect market interest rate to increase, should the company invest in bond A or bond B? And state your reason. Assuming you expect the interest rates to rise in the market, will you expect the company to invest in bond A or invest in bond B? Now let me explain that so I can round up. Generally, increase in interest rates. Generally, increase in market interest rates will result in fall in the value of a bond. Generally, increase in market interest rates will result in fall in the market price of a bond or the market value of a bond. However, a bond with longer duration will experience greater fall in value compared to a bond with shorter duration. In this case, look at it. If market interest rates rise in the market, we expect the value of bond to fall. However, a bond with longer duration will experience greater fall in value compared to a bond with shorter duration. Given the above explanation, it is better for the company to invest in bond A. That is to invest in bond A bond with shorter duration. That is the expected explanation. All right, any question, please? Any question, please? Of course, we are going to stop here. If there is no question, I'll be checking out of the classroom.